Hi everybody, I'm not really too sure where I'm going to go with this. I'm just going to go with the flow. I've been in that sort of state of mind for the last few weeks where I just feel like just knocking it all on the head. That's it, it's all over. Um, you get to a point. It's either it's all over or I persevere and just carry on with it. So for the time being, I'm persevering and carrying on with it. But, you know, you haven't seen a vinyl tag video from me because there are like 170 odd vinyl tag videos. I did do one, I uploaded it, and it was 37 seconds. It was the quickest one of all, quicker than John Bip Boom's 1 minute one. And this was it. I didn't even show a record. I just showed some very, some might say, irreverent answers on this piece of toilet roll. And I blew my nose on it and threw it away. But people would probably thought, that's too far, what are you doing? But you know how it is. So if I better take that one down, probably going too far. You know how people are. Anyway, I've been in a sort of state of mind of late where I felt very disconnected and very isolated from moving. 7 months ago I moved from London to a completely different area, completely different world almost. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it's near Scotland and it's a very different place. It's right in the middle of the countryside. It's very, very different. And it's had a kind of strange effect on me. I mean, a lot of you say, well, a lot of things seem to have had a strange effect on you, mate. But there's a sort of a weird, peculiar feeling. Now, some of you have moved from France to Australia or from the UK to the USA. Or, if you had any sense, you'd be from the USA to the UK. But what the hell am I doing it? But I don't know, there's just something about going to a completely different place. It's had a kind of weird effect. Everything here is unsettled. I thought I'll get this room sorted out as soon as I can, and I sort of did. But now I'm realizing that I can't do certain things because of the windows. And I wanted to put shelves in. I thought, well, the sun's going to come in, and I don't really want the records kind of bleached and all this stuff. And it can get quite warm in the summer and think, oh, So, there are still boxes everywhere which are unpacked. So I'm in a state of flux. And I realized I don't really know where I am in the country even. And it's sort of had an effect on me. I mean, direct west from me is Scotland. Scotland is directly west. I was just assumed it was north. Sounds daft. But until you really move to an area, you don't really find your feet. And I think it's had an effect on me on the way I collect. Obviously, I have a charity shops up here, absolutely non-existent. And there's virtually nothing in them. And it takes miles to get anywhere. So it's had an effect on the way I buy things and the way I do things. But it's also had a sort of strange effect on the way I listen and even the sort of desire to listen and what I want to listen to. A lot of the records I've brought with me, I just sort of feel like I just want to leave behind now. I don't want to hear them anymore. There's a sort of shift. It was nice when I first got the room set up. I spent a lot of time listening to 45s and whatnot. And enjoyed that and I've enjoyed a lot of different aspects of the move and being here. But it has had a sort of subtle effect. I don't know if any of you who have moved, it's had an effect on the way you, obviously it does affect you. And it takes time to establish yourself in an area. But if it's had a knock-on effect on how you've bought things or how you listen, I found that the things of the past I just don't want, and I think I need new things all the time. I always like that anyway, but there's a newer sort of sense of certain music just isn't doing it for me anymore. A lot of sort of rock music and stuff just isn't really doing it for me. It's strange. I've listened to a lot more old 78s, a lot more classical music, and there's a whole world of new things, and I think it is echoed with moving, and this sort of sense of you're somewhere new and you want to explore something new, and in a way that's had that effect on me. I want to explore newer things, and certain things that I used to really love just aren't cutting it anymore, and I want to explore new worlds. And I think that's part of perhaps moving. I may be talking absolute rubbish here, and I invariably am. Anyway, I haven't even shown a record yet. It's very unlike me. 5 minutes in. It's just one of those videos. I will show this record. This is Erica, Hexagon Cloud. I think I showed her a few years back. Electronic. Her name's Erica Sherman. She's done 4 or 5 records, a couple of 12 inches and 2 or 3 albums. This is a double album. Like a lot of things nowadays, the style is just, very, very plain. There's no information particularly on it. But it's Detroit techno, and it's just her. And I think it's really, really excellent stuff. It's stripped back. Sometimes it falls into, I suppose you listen to a lot of electronic music and sort of dance music and that kind of music, and you'll hear patterns and you'll know that they're going to drop down at this point, and you know that the little melody's going to come in here or there. And so you get very attuned to this sort of stuff. But this is an excellent record. She was actually in a duo, I think they're called Ectomorph or something. They're just not as good. On her own, she is really fantastic. Check her out on Bandcamp. The record isn't available anymore, but you can listen to some of these tracks. Hexagon Cloud. It's just a great, great record. Really interesting. I think it's 2015. Great album, that. And another record and this is, you could say, completely goes against everything I've been just saying just now about listening to old stuff and leaving stuff behind. But the 2 opening tracks on this record, this is a 80s synth pop, really high quality songwriting. Icehouse. This is their first album, Love in Motion. This is actually a repress from the following year. They actually repressed it, and the sleeve is different. And the first pressing actually doesn't sound as good. I have that as well. But this is a fantastic album, apart from one really duff track called Glown. It's a sort of instrumental throwaway thing, a weird tune. But Uniform and Street Cafe are just wonderful opening tracks. Street Cafe, just this one, ending the day in the Street Cafe. Top quality songwriting, and that lovely, it's this early 80s, this is 82 it was recorded. Fantastic period sound. Not with all the high blow and ridiculous 80s production, just quality songwriting and storytelling. Brilliant record. Yeah, so I'll just show another 1 or 2 bits and bobs. I showed this on Instagram. It's got to be one of the most potentially grotesque images you've ever seen in your life, or one of the most twee. Look at those pictures. And she looks like she's been smacked in the face, and there's a beautiful piece of music on here. It's The Nightingale and a Rose by Saint-Saëns, and this is all lyrical and vocal melodies, and there's no lyrics in it, but it's her, the notes that she reaches, and it's her singing like a nightingale, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The range and the dynamics in the voice and the beauty of it. The tune itself is wonderful. It's only short. They're not long pieces on this record. That's a 4 or 5 minute piece, and it's a beautiful thing. I was going to do a video playing it, but it just isn't loud enough on the record, and it's just, even turning it right up, it didn't really come across in the video. But I really recommend you check that piece out. Saint-Saëns, Nightingale and the Rose. Beautiful thing. She was really big and popular in her day, actually. I think she's half Russian, half Austrian, parents. But anyway, yeah, there you are, wonderful. I've picked up a few different classical things lately. I won't show them now, but I will show a couple of these CDs. Richard Strauss's 4 Last Songs. This is, to my ear, when I first heard it, I thought, wow, this is wonderful. This is Lucia Popp and Klaus Tenstedt, but their rendition of it. One of the most famous, and Jesse Norman's is the most famous, and I'm sure I had it and I haven't got it. is this one, Elizabeth Schwarzkopf's version. And if you don't know these 4 songs, they are absolutely sublime. They are beautiful. They are part of all classical repertoire. It's like they are up there. They're never going to disappear from the classical world, if you like, because they are just sublime pieces of music, and a real melancholia within them and a sadness within them. And they can be sung beautifully. And this is probably, although I really enjoyed the kind of warmth of this woman's voice, I can understand why people say this one's better, but I'm still kind of veering towards this one. There's a sort of warmth and a slightly more, I don't know, it's going to sound silly, but a less mannered vocal, if you like. I also picked up a couple of others. Kiri de, what's her name? Tarawa. Mine is going blank. Hers is so polished, it was just, it's repulsive to me. I had to turn it off. Anyway, also in the same, I did actually do my classical record video, which I haven't done another one since, which is completely remiss of me. Strauss Metamorphosen and Death and Transfiguration. This is for one that everyone says it's, again, this is a strange thing, isn't it? This is what everyone says. Oh, this is for performance. This is for one you must have. And to my ear, I don't enjoy it as much as the other one that I had, the George Sell one, and also the Klemperer. I had Klemperer in mono, and it just, to me, it just sounds better. There's just more to it, and yet over and over again you get fed the story that this is the best one, and it's, it's, okay, but it's kind of almost, it's too, sometimes I find with classical reviewers, and I don't know a huge amount about it, but I've found that there's a real emphasis on a kind of purity and a clarity. Not always, because people, they emphasize certain things and they'll say, well, this particular conductor will emphasize the woodwind, and this particular conductor will emphasize the strings at this point. And there are differences, but there is a sort of almost perfection and a polished perfection which seems to be inherent in all of the kind of the greatest and the best recordings, or so supposedly. Whereas to my ear, I prefer something which is a bit more kind of meat and maybe a little bit slightly rough around the edges, maybe more like a live performance perhaps. But also it's about the recording and how it's recorded. Anyway, I think I'll just finish on showing this record, Funkadelic Hardcore Jollies, the US Funk Mob, it says under there. What a fantastic side one. I mean, side one is absolutely, I mean, it's electrifying. It's absolutely electrifying. It's, the guitar work is blistering on side one of this record. Side two, it sort of slumps into a, it starts off sort of okay, and then it's a Cosmic Slop. Cosmic Slop is a good track, but then it kind of gets a bit lame and a bit slow, and it loses the huge kind of power and immediacy and impact of side one, which just hits the ground running, just boom, all the way through, and it's just, God, what a side of music that was. And then side two just drops for pace, and it just loses something across the entire album. For me, there'll be people out there raging at the screen. Well, maybe one, going, "What are you talking about?" Mind you, most people wouldn't have got this far. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for now. I'll probably do some other videos soon, if I can, if I've got it in me. I must say I haven't had the emotional energy to deal with comments, to deal with the interaction. And I was ill for quite a while, over Christmas or after Christmas and stuff. It kind of had an impact on me, I think. And the effort to do anything is just like, ugh. And it can be quite tiring doing this, because comments and stuff can be quite long-winded and can quite, take it out of you. But anyway, I'm going to try and find a way of being more disciplined, to not be constantly replying, but just do it at a certain time here and there. So I won't necessarily reply straight away if you do comment. Anyway, I'll perhaps do some more shorts and some more 45 videos, and I really must do another couple of classical ones. Anyway, that's it, and I'll see you all later.